Welcome to Cycling Demystified, brought to you by Foundation Bike Fit and Frequency Cycle Works, the podcast where we help you take your cycling to the next level by sharing the knowledge from experienced bike fitters, mechanics, and the hidden players within the bike industry.
Hey guys, welcome back. And I just wanted to record a quick episode, an addendum to the mini-series that we've just recorded. So if you haven't listened to that, go back and listen to it. But we've been doing a mini-series all on foot correction, or foot optimization options for you in your bike fit using shims, wedges, and other methods, extender plates, Q factor plates, to increase the symmetry and balance and connection with your bike. And with this improved connection, balance, stability, then you'll get improved comfort and performance out of your bike riding. And these are definitely useful tools. And as we've described in the episodes before, especially if you have structural differences in your architecture, in your body's architecture. So if you've got different length bones in your legs and you literally have a leg length difference, then shims can be a fantastic way to improve that symmetry, because you are riding a bike which is a symmetrical object. So symmetrical function tends to lead to less issues down the line. Not always the case. We are definitely not symmetrical creatures, and we will never perform completely symmetrically. We're not robots, but the bike is. And so we just need to find a place of balance so that we can operate well on the bike with a minimal amount of issues. And these tools can also help you become aware of your function on the bike. And that's probably one of the greatest uses of exploring these different options, just so you have a little bit more awareness about your body and how it operates and how the bike affects your function on the bike. And does that change as you push harder or do more or go longer or try different disciplines? You know, what's important for you as a rider, and where you have to put in the effort and manage your riding. However, I also wanted to make a big point on, or give a little warning out to people that using shims and wedges and all these other interventions, particularly if you're trying to correct for a functional difference in your body, i.e. it's not a structural difference, you don't have one leg longer than the other, but maybe some of that leg length difference or a difference in how your foot operates is purely down to how your body functions, its history, how it's been operating and how you operate, and those differences between the different sides. If you are correcting, in air quotes, for a functional difference in your body, using these little interventions like shims and wedges can be detrimental. So you need to think about it a little bit like using a crutch. So when you have an injury and you are going through that recovery phase, you might need to use a crutch to help your body realign and re-find the better balanced position that it had before. But the crutch is a temporary measure to help you get back to a previous position, a more balanced position. And the idea is to do away with that crutch and then continue working on your body to return to a more balanced and functional state. So if you think about wedges and shims and other interventions in your feet like a crutch, then eventually you do want to almost do away with these interventions. The least amount of intervention, the better in many cases. So using shims and wedges, they're attractive because they might produce an instantaneous result. Things will suddenly get better and you can really find a better connection with your bike, and that's great. That's really important, to be able to teach the body what does it actually feel like when you find that sweet spot. You might never have got to that place before, but using shims and wedges and interventions like this is no excuse for not improving your function as a human being and as a rider, and continuing to improve yourself and your function so that hopefully you won't have to rely on these shims and wedges unless there is a very clear structural difference and particular use case for your particular body. So ask yourself that question: do I really need to be using these shims and wedges for prolonged, or for life? Like just shoving in these interventions are not an ultimate solution in many cases, and just a pathway to a better result. So yeah, just be aware of that, and I'd encourage you to take that mindset of using these as tools to achieve a better position overall. And so over time, you might find that removing shims and wedges become necessary. Things might become more uncomfortable if you improve your function and you don't need the crutch anymore. So what do I mean when I talk about operating more functionally? I'm talking about, do you have the prerequisite mobility to make the shapes required to sit in a bike riding position? Do you have the mobility to hinge forward at the hip without rounding your spine excessively, so you're not compromising your posture or doing yourself some damage through your spine? Do you have the mobility to remain in a balanced position on the bike, left and right? We all have dominances one side to the other. And just think about handedness. The majority of us are right-handed or right-footed over left-handed or left-footed. So these dominances occur all the way throughout our body, all the way through hands, feet, hips, eyes, nose. Even our organs internally are not arranged symmetrically. So even though we may think of ourselves as symmetrical creatures, we are definitely not. However, the bike is, and this is the trick of fitting a human being that moves around onto a symmetrical bike. And that bike can be changed to be more asymmetric, but generally speaking, we want to find a symmetrical as possible position, or a position that has not significant asymmetry, to allow our bodies to function in a very general sense of the word. So there are always going to be exceptions, but again, the warning is to not use the wedges, shims, interventions as a crutch, as an excuse not to work on your bodies. If you do have a functional difference within your body, if you're tighter through one side, if you're less mobile through one side, you're weaker on one side, then that is an opportunity for you to work on your body, improve yourself. See them as opportunities, not as when we say the word weakness, it's often seen in a negative light. But strength, mobility all work together. And yeah, this is why certainly at Foundation Bike Fit, we are very much working with strength and conditioning coaches, mobility coaches all the time to encourage people to keep investigating their function, improving themselves and their bodies and how they move within the confines of the bike and off the bike at the same time. Because remember, bike riding is a weird sport. It is a weird, unnatural movement pattern. It's a very specific movement pattern that is required on your body. And as a human being, your most natural position is upright, walking, running. And so bike riding is pretty weird. If you saw someone walking around in a bike riding position, hinged at the hip, arms stretched out, head up, you'd probably take a second look at them and be, hey, what's going on? So, play around with shims and wedges, cleat extender plates, all the rest of it. Understand what they are doing for you, how they can be helping you, but don't see it as the end. Keep investigating, keep improving yourself, and using this as a platform, as a way, a jumping off spot, a launch pad to a better place. And this is where bike fitting we view as a practice rather than an end solution. And this applies to all of your bike fit. This should be a thing that you revisit on a regular, semi-regular basis. It is not one and done. A lot of people come in, think, got your bike fit, you're done. But your body is constantly changing, and so your bike fit should adapt and morph with your body too. And the more you understand your body, then the better interventions you can make. All right, just a quick one this week. Hope you enjoyed the mini-series. If you've got any questions, of course, get in touch, let me know. Love to hear your thoughts, as always. And yeah, hope to catch you on the next one.
Suffering from numb hands, tingling toes, and any other persistent discomforts when you ride? These are all signs that your bike fit could be improved. If you're bike fit curious, get in touch with Wei or Matt by emailing info@foundation.fit or finding them on Instagram @FDN_bikefit. Finally, for all your bike servicing needs, custom dream bike or hand-built wheels, go to www.frequencycycleworks.com or find me on Instagram @frequencycycleworks. Until next time, keep on spinning.